Hey, what is going on, everybody? Carter here. Got another video for you. We're going to be talking about knife flippers, bringing the heat, controversy, haters come forth. Let's talk about it. This video is inspired by my buddy Steve over at Scotch and Things. Go check out his channel if you're not already subscribed. I would suspect most of you probably are. But he did a video about this, his opinion of knife flippers. I've got a lot of opinions on this, thoughts, ramblings, things like that, and want to talk about it. It's been on my mind lately, full disclosure, because I've flipped a few knives, baby. I have. I took advantage of that hype. I took advantage of the current market costs. Some of them I got some crap for, some pretty heavy crap for, like my Oz. I got roasted with the Oz on a few different things. But guess what? Hate the player, not the game. No, hate the game, not the player. I don't know. Anyways, so it's a complicated thing when we're talking about knife flippers. We have to kind of define what is a knife flipper. That's going to depend on different people. Is it just anybody that has ever partaken in the act of selling a knife for more than what they paid? Or is it somebody that specifically goes out of their way to procure hyped knives with the sole intent of flipping, right? So I don't fit into that latter category. I've never bought a knife with the intention of flipping it. Now, I have bought a knife that I wasn't 100% sure on, that I knew I could get my money back or make a little money on it, so I went ahead and did the purchase. That's how the Oz was for me. The Arius as well. I didn't make money, but I knew I could get my money back, and so I was like, I'll go ahead and get it. I wasn't 100% on it. I'll go ahead and get it. And I've done that on a few too. Striders. Striders are huge on Flipability, and there'll be drops. And really, a lot of folks in the Strider world, it's kind of freeing because you can kind of just buy any drop. You don't have to put too much thought in it. You don't have to think, oh man, do I really want this one? Do I not want this one? You can kind of just jump on every drop, get the knife, check it out. If you don't love it, you could sell it and maybe even make some money. So there is an upside to the flipper cultures. But one thing that Steve mentioned that I quickly realized is that flipping in the Strider world is very commonplace. It's not really scoffed at too much. It's an accepted part. There's a knife show that happens somewhere. Shortly after, you're going to see knives that sold at the knife show for more than table. And it just is what it is. And depending on your perspective, you can look at that as a worthwhile, valuable service, or you can get all upset. Because in my mind, it's like, yeah, I could buy a plane ticket. I could fly to Texas, get a hotel. I could get up at 6 a.m. and wait in line and try to get it at table price. Or I can stay in my nice cozy bed if all I want is that knife and pay the extra $400 and just have it sent to my house. The idea that we expect people to go through the effort and not get any compensation isn't always fair. Now, I think most people would agree with that, but people that kind of stock drops and buy a bunch with the sole intent of flipping, yeah, that kind of sucks. It is what it is, but all I know is, there's some irony there, right? There's also the irony of the amount of flack you get for flipping a knife is in direct proportion to how long you hold on to the knife. So if you buy something, you get it, and then you decide to sell it at a higher rate than what you bought it for, immediately you get destroyed. But if you hold on to it for a few months and then sell it at that higher rate, nobody cares as much. As long as you hold it for a little while, they don't care as much, which is like, why does it matter? If I get something, I decide I want to move it, I'm going to sell it at market value. I'm not going to sell it cheap. For the most part, there are instances where certain friends that I have, and I know they're looking for something, I'll hook them up with a deal, right? But those are all done behind the scenes. I reach out to them, hey buddy, you're looking for this. I've got one. I'll give it to you for table or plus shipping or whatever the case may be. Just as long as I get out of it clean. I've done that before, and that's great. But in terms of just throwing something out for sale, I'm going to post it at what I think the market value is, and it is what it is. I don't know why people get so upset about that, because I'll say one thing. If let's say I bought this knife for, I don't know, this isn't a good example, but okay, let's do the Strider, right? Let's say I bought the Strider for table, $550, whatever they go for, and it's a super high in demand one, and so I sell it for $7, I make a couple $100. You can get destroyed for that. Like, oh, how dare you? But if I bought this knife for $500 and then I go to sell it and it's not moving for $500 and I drop it to $400 and it's not moving and I drop it to $350, nobody bats an eye at me losing money. Nobody stands up and says, hey, somebody should buy this. That's a fair price for this. This guy should get his money back. Nobody cares when you lose money. Nobody stands up for you when you lose money. But God forbid you ever gain any money. At the end of the day, in my buying and selling career, I have an abysmal track record of losing money overall. Now, I definitely made some money on some knives, but overall, I have tanked. And I have facilitated deals for people beyond measure in terms of me paying full price, selling a brand new knife at a mega discount all the time. I never get accolades for that. Nobody gives me a clap when I post a knife for $150 below retail for a brand new knife. Nobody says, oh, that's cool of you to do. I don't even get a thumbs up. It's just like, yeah, I get, they talk you down as much as they can. Okay, I guess I'll take that. Nobody stands up on that side. But if you ever do the opposite, oh my God, they come out of the woodwork and tear you apart. And it is just ridiculous. Really what it is people are upset because they want that knife and they don't want to pay that. And so they're mad, But the other thing is, this isn't baby formula, guys. This isn't medical attention. It's a hobby. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. This isn't food, shelter, water. This isn't necessary. It's a dumb hobby. If you don't like the price, move on. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a different knife next month anyways that you want. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just let people post crap. If you see a price that's way up, who cares? Skip it. Don't give it your attention. Move on. Find the thing you're interested in. The idea that we get so upset with what people do or don't do in this hobby is just ridiculous. And the double standards, right? In fact, that's a good point. I'm going to start giving people little clap emojis when I see them sell a brand new knife below retail, and I suspect that they're losing money. I'm going to say, good for you, helping somebody else out, getting a brand new knife below retail. Good for you, because nobody gets praise for that. They only get destroyed if they ever go the opposite direction. I guarantee you, I don't care how good of a flipper you are, 99.9% of them are still net negative in terms of what they've done in the hobby, right? They've still lost money overall. They may have had some wins, scoring some hype knives and selling them here and there, but overall, we're all losing money in this thing. Nobody's playing this like a stock market where they're up. They've made money in the knife hobby. It just doesn't happen. You always lose money. So if you have an opportunity to occasionally make a couple bucks because you happen to score something, do it. Don't let the negative stuff tear you down. They're just mad because they want it cheap. And if you sell it to them, they're not going to care. They're going to be like, cool, thanks, later. And then when they go to sell something, they're not going to cut you that same deal. That's the other thing too. Like, I've been tempted to give people a deal and be like, hey, I'm doing something cool, but I know it would never be reciprocated. And not only to me, but to anybody. The person that bought that knife would never pass that forward on their knife. They're going to do them. They're going to sell their own knife for market value. They're not going to cut anyone else a deal. I guarantee it. So anyways, that's my opinion on it. The reason I'm so heated is that Oz, it was almost comical. It was ridiculous. Like, I got so much, and it was only in one particular forum, right? So it wasn't a Oz specific forum because they know, they understand. That's what it is. They know what the market value is. My price was actually good for the market. I could have asked for more, but just because they know I got it in the recent lotto and they know what the table price is, in one particular forum, they went ape on me, laugh emojis and comments and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty crazy. I thought it was funny because I knew it would sell. Right. So I'm like, whatever. I just deleted the ad eventually. I got sick of reading the comments. But anyways, that's why maybe I'm a little salty and jumped on this video. But that's my thing. It's a one-way street, right? They only care when you make money. Nobody cares when you lose money. In fact, they think you deserve to lose money. But if you make $100 on a sale, on a knife you're unsure of, and you fork out the money, yeah. They don't care. And then also, if you get into like pre-orders, then you start getting into kind of the show territory, right? Like if you're somebody that forks out a lot of money to get a lot of extra ones in a pre-order, and then when those pre-orders come in, 6, 7, 8 months later, and then you go to sell those, it's like, yeah, you've provided a service. You've extended your capital to secure inventory. You're not making any money. You're not making any interest on that capital. It's tied up, not to mention the risk. That company could go away. The items could be destroyed. Things could be lost. All kinds of things could happen. You're exposing yourself to risk by forking out however much money to get additional units so that people that couldn't afford to scoop those up when they were available might be able to pick those up at a later time. I think you deserve to be somewhat compensated for doing that. The idea that you would just sell for table price after having your funds held up for however long, I don't think it's fair, right? There's certain value there. Anyways, so yeah, maybe an overly capitalistic approach there. Like I said, I'm all for hooking up your homies. And anybody that I know that's looking for a particular knife that I have, that I'm friends with, I will reach out and hook them up with a deal. But most of the time, I don't have that happen, and I just throw it up for sale. I'm going to post it for competitive against whatever the market value is, right? I'm not trying to be super greedy, but I also know things are worth money. And if I can scoop up a couple of bucks on a particular sale to somewhat help offset all the money I've lost in when I sell things for less, I'm going to do it. That's what I'm going to do. Let me know down below. What is your opinion on it? I think we all kind of agree that we don't like people whose sole purpose is to scoop up limited knives just to resell. But at the same time, it's really not worth the energy to even care about. It doesn't matter. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Let me know what your opinion is down below on flippers. All right, guys, see ya.